Diamond coach with 18 coaches combined, right? Did I say that right?
I did.
Give or take a few hundred. Yeah.
Oh, whatever. I said 18 Star Diamond combined.
Did someone just drop? Come on. But both of them are part of the Million Club. I hope I'm saying that right. I know they just changed that.
No, you're right.
Melissa's a 5-star diamond, 7-star combined. She's also part of the Million Club. Founding coaches of Beachbody, which sounds so crazy. There was, how many of you? 46 or 40?
41.
41 coaches, and now we're like close to 500,000. That's got to blow your mind. That alone has to blow your mind, how it's just transpired that way. Melissa received the humanitarian award with Beachbody, which right there I think is kind of, sorry, Robert, even better than being a superstar diamond, because it just shows her character of who she is, which they didn't give it away this year at Summit, and I was kind of disappointed.
God, it made me sad.
I know. Maybe nobody was humanitarian. What else am I missing with you guys? It's crazy.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
You know, we're just normal people. We're just moms and dads. You know, we've got 2 boys. We live in Texas, and we're just normal people.
Yeah, and you know, first and foremost, and like she was telling me, that talks about all of our accolades, if you will, and things that make us feel uncomfortable when we hear and we're talking about it. But I think what we're most proud of is that we've done something and been able to enjoy something together and build it not only as a couple but involved our whole family. And I've watched that time and time and time and time again throughout our whole team. And I just have to, if I could just really quick brag on somebody real quick and just say, I'm going to brag on my 16-year-old who is in the living room teaching my son how to find some interquartile of some subset algebraic cosine of tangent.
Swearing at me or something. Are you swearing at me?
He's in there. He just walked in, and Ty asked him, and he sat down and he's teaching him these math things because he's a whiz at math and I'm not. And Ty was asking me, I was like, dude, I have no idea. And I just want to brag on him for coming in and sitting down and teaching him things. And that's like a home run for a parent. So anyway, I just want to do that. But besides that, that's the most fun about this whole thing. And yes, the diamonds are fun. And yes, you know, of course, making a great income, making a living from this is fun. But when you're able to do it with your best friend day in and day out and work with them, and build something special and involve the whole family instead of just being on an island in and of yourself, it's probably the coolest thing in the world.
You know, it wasn't always like this. It wasn't like pure bliss is what, like Robert's making it sound like. You may be thinking, good grief, that's not like it is on my side of the table. So I want to take you back a little bit. I'm not going to take you back to when I was born and overweight as a baby, you know, kind of thing. I'm not going to go that far. But I do want to take you back to when we first heard about this business. Some people wonder, like, how did you become founders? Like, how does that even happen? So let me just tell you a little bit about that. Robert ordered P90X. He was actually searching for ephedrine, which is an illegal drug, on the internet because, you know, they nixed it because it was, what was it doing? Causing heart palpitations to everybody? Like they died?
Like 3 people died. But how many people died from smoking?
All right. So he's searching that on the internet and he sees this P90X thing and he searches it out and he's like, are these results legit? Like, how does this happen? And so he's talking on the message boards. Do y'all remember chat rooms? I mean, for some of you who are older than 35, there used to be chat rooms. And
what are you laughing about, Ashley? You weren't even born yet.
I was going to say, yeah. Like,
chat rooms? What's that? Is that part of Instagram? Must be Snapchat.
So he was on that all the time, talking to these people, and like all the time. He was a fireman at the time, or he was a paramedic, working 24 on, 48 off, and he was on this computer all the time. And I would walk up to him, and I was like, you know what? If you can get paid for doing this, that's fine. But right now, you're just talking to these people who are in bikinis. Like, I don't even know what's happening on the other side. So
what's the downside of that? I'm thinking, you know.
Luckily, there was Tracy Morrow on the other side of that, and if you know her, you love her. But so literally, Tony Horton was coming to Chicago. We lived in Iowa at the time, and I said, "You know what, Robert? you are so infatuated with this man. I need you to know that he's just like you. He's just a dude. He's just a trainer. So why don't you go out there and you go out there and do that? And, you know, and we were broke as a joke.
Right. And that's the thing is it all kind of, you know, it all goes back to, I guess where,
Not too far back.
I'm not too far back, but anyway, so like I said, yeah, we were very broke. She actually made me go and take a nursing class in order to be able to go, you know, to justify being able to go. I had to go knock out one of my nursing classes because
you gotta have like
because I had to become a nurse just to make any money. Now, I always tell the people that, you know, as a paramedic, it's really cool. It sounds fun, lights and sirens and all that good stuff, but guys, they don't make squat. I mean, I was one of the most schooled people. I could do more than most physicians could do, but for less than $14 an hour. But that being said, she let me go because I passed this class, and if you're a guy on this, you know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, then you know, good for you. But anyway, we went to. I went there. It was in Chicago. I got to meet, like she said, Tracy happened to be there. She used to help run his camps. He would do like 1 or 2, sometimes 3 around the country. I got to meet Mark Briggs, who is a brother from another mother. We instantly, he was a cop. I was a fireman. You know, we just kind of became fast friends. And Tony wanted to be part of that action. So the 3 of us became kind of like the three amigos. And then Carl actually flew in on a whim. And
he doesn't come to
those things. He just flew in on a whim. And I'd come up to him and I said, hey, Carl, you know, because when I had the results with P90X, I mean, yeah, I tell people, yeah, I lost like 25 pounds. I lost 8 inches off my waist. I lost like 17% body fat, all this other stuff. But it was never about what I lost in the end. It was about what I gained. It was gaining self-esteem. It was gaining, you know, just self-confidence and feeling good about being in my own skin and not being part of the white T-shirt crowd of the guys in white T-shirts at the pool. You know, that type of stuff. I was able to gain all that, but also gain the knowledge of if I really committed to something, committed to a plan and followed through, that I could accomplish some pretty crazy stuff. So anyway, I just got up the guts and went and said, hey, dude, I want to work for Beachbody. I'll clean out your trash cans. I don't care what I have to do. Y'all have done so much for me and my confidence. And he goes, you know, Robert, I know who you are, and I've got something up my sleeve, and I'm going to call you in a couple of months, and I'm going to let you know what it is. And so, of course, I walk out of there on cloud 9. First of all, Carl knows me, Johnny Intense, you know, the guy that, you know, is puking during P90X in the early. If you've done P90X, you know what I'm talking about. And then he knows who I am, and he's going to call me. And I come home, and I tell Melissa, I said, so first of all, Tony gave me his cell number, and we're going to hang out, and I got to meet Mark. And, oh, yeah, Carl said he's going to call me about this thing so we can make money from this. I don't know what it is.
I was like, he will never call you. You'll never hear from him again. It's literally what I said. Like, I'm such an uplifting spouse at that time.
Yeah, she's great.
Like, I just poured net on that whole dream that you just had. You know, yeah. I totally did. I didn't believe it. I honestly didn't, which is, you know, and guess what happened? 2 months later, the phone rang and he called. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And he invited us out. You've got to remember how broke we were. We were so broke. We were in debt up to our ears, but you wouldn't have known it by watching the way we lived because we were spending money left and right and putting it all on credit cards. It was ugly. And when we got out there, I was like, this is the Beverly Wilshire. Like, this
Pretty
is
Woman.
Sweet. I felt like I was Pretty Woman. And it was Christmas time. It was December of 2006. And we sat in a room hearing all about this Team Beachbody business and how you can make money. And
they're drawing circles. You know what that means.
And all I heard was, honestly, that we could save 25% on our products. And I knew that we were spending money on products. And I thought, 25%, I can handle that. Sign us up. And that's truly how it happened. But I owned a clothing store at the time in our small town. So I wasn't completely on board with the whole grow the business, you know? And I know that's why you're on here. How do you grow your business with your spouse? And I'm going to tell you right now, I wasn't on board with it because I didn't really understand it. I was busy with my own stuff. I just knew that he was enjoying doing the products. He was talking to people face to face. He got 25% off. So go for it. You know, I was like, go for it, dude. You do that. And over time,
with if I could just interject real quick. So a lot of times when people sign on, it's like, this is what I'm doing, and their spouse is like, oh, okay, very separate. And I'm trying to, because I know I have coaches where their husbands don't agree and they don't understand it because it's not the norm, or that's kind of what she does, or that's what he does, and they're not involved in it. And I really feel like it's so important that people understand it. Just like when, somebody comes home from work, how was your day? And they listen to it. But it doesn't seem like a lot of my coaches get that support from their spouse or friends or family to say, like, I know my siblings never say, how's work? I think they think I do these little cute parties or something. Like, they never ask because they don't know. So how do you think, what would be a good way to bring them into the conversations to learn more about it?
Well, see, we were getting to that until you interrupted.
That's so not nice. No, but seriously, you heard how I was. I was very negative Nelly, I really was. I totally was. And that's what financial stress will do to you. It'll turn you to somebody who's bitter and thinks there's no sunshine on the other side. And luckily, the Lord had said,
hey, Bryson.
I'm so sorry, y'all. My kids are
I was just bragging on them. I'm sorry. I got to take it back.
And now they're singing. And
you totally wouldn't do this if you were.
No. And so the thing is that when you get what we have learned over time, because we get so many people saying, I wish my spouse would work the business like your husband does. Or Robert will get, I wish my spouse would work like Melissa does. And what we have found is that everybody has different passions. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a fluke that Robert and I have a passion for helping people. But I will tell you that our businesses are not parallel, and our activity in the business is not parallel.
Right.
At the beginning, Robert was full force, and I was just kind of collecting my 25% off, doing my thing, while he was full force.
And building her business at the same time. I was building, helping to build her business, and it was building up slowly. Because early on, what we realized, especially even as founders, when we didn't think about this, somebody told us, hey, you need to put Melissa, don't just sign one of you up. You need to sign both of you up, which, by the way, we'll get to in a little bit of the importance in that. But how important it was that we go ahead and get our spouse in as a coach early on, because that's another business center. That was going to be something that could be a profit generator. And if you wanted to do it and you knew that, hey, I'm going to really give this thing a go. Okay. I'm going to give this thing at least a year. And so with that, there's some potential for some pretty radical growth. And if I'm going to have radical growth, I want to have my spouse, another profit generator in my household that goes to the same bank account. I want them up there with me so that they can take part in that profit too and take advantage, instead of doing what I know other founders made the mistake of doing, which was waiting and, oh, here comes somebody that signed up, and then waiting, oh, there's another one that signed up, and then waiting, and all of a sudden they've got all these layers here, and then here comes their spouse when they could have been up here and been able to take advantage of any volume and all this. And I mean, everybody that has ever done that has ever built this business has regretted, to a person has regretted, not just immediately going, I know your social security number off the top of my head, and we're going to use the same credit card anyway. I'm going to sign you up just to get you a spot. And then we can go into but anyway, so I knew that early on, and we knew, because starting out, Melissa was like, this is just not me. This is not my identity. I know you've got that whole P90X thing and all this other stuff, and this is your passion. And let me tell you, early on, now if you go to Summit, you see 99.9% of the people walk across the stage are women. It wasn't always like that. Early on, the people who, like the top income earners, the people who really built this early on, it was the men. And I think it was just because we were so focused on the business, and social media wasn't social.
I know this is hard to believe.
I know. Facebook hasn't been around
this is hard to believe. But when we started, there was not Facebook. I know that's shocking, because it feels like Facebook has been in our lives forever.
It was MySpace, and we never used it.
It was MySpace. And we didn't even understand that.
I know. I mean, what did it mean to poke somebody? Or, I mean, when that came along, I mean, I never knew. I mean, I could get in a lot of trouble. And then if a dude poked another dude, he's getting his ass kicked. So I'm just saying that. I mean, whenever. So that being said, is that we didn't have those. And guys, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you, Melissa gripes at me every day ad nauseum about not being more involved in social media. But back then, there just wasn't. So it was more of a belly business. It was calling. Actually, you had to pick up one of these things, and they used to flip up, and you would call people on them, and you had to do it that way. So it was more male driven. But once social media became into play, and we got the challenge packs and started thinking about challenge groups and people doing things together. First of all, women are amazing relationship creatures. They're very social. They go to the bathroom in groups, and I mean, with all of that, I mean, that just lends to what they do, and that's their sweet spot. And so it's perfect for them. And so, had I known that, I mean, back then I'd have been like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. But we just wanted to do what everybody else was telling us who had experience in network marketing that says this is one of the only companies that allows you to have 2 business centers within the same household. Take advantage of it. And so we did. And so we built mine up, built hers up because I was going to need a diamond. And so we start anytime, like I'd build mine up to a diamond, shift, focus, build hers up to a diamond, shift back up to mine anyway. And then, go from there until she was ready to really start building.
Right. And so during that whole time I was involved, but I wasn't involved like I am today. And that's where I want to make sure that you guys understand. I want you to have your spouse involved in the sense that I want you to share about what it's like to be a Beachbody coach, what you do on a daily basis, just like when you ask your spouse, hey, how did work go today? And maybe he or she will tell you about it. And then hopefully in turn, they'll say like, well, what did you do today? And you have the opportunity to share about Beachbody coaching. Now, here's the thing. You need to, if you sign your spouse up, because I want to make sure I say this because I don't want to get in trouble. If you sign your spouse up as a coach, they need to understand that they're a coach, okay? Mm-hmm. They need to understand that it's a good business decision. It's smart. It's a good business decision. Number 2, they need to understand that they don't have to post on social media, that you can take care of some of that business for them as long as they know what's going on, that they understand what's happening in their business, okay? So I want to make that part clear. Now, here's the deal. Some of you may be saying, you know what? My spouse doesn't do anything about this. He thinks this is just a pie in the sky, that this is not going to work out. Like this is just wasting our money. Okay, so I want to talk to some of you who are feeling that way because a lot of times that's many of you. And we found that when we spoke at Summit about this very topic. Because when you can get your spouse on board, you will see your business soar. Not because they're helping you grow, but because it gives you more confidence. Mm-hmm. It gives you more assurance that you are doing the right thing. So here's how this can happen, okay? Here's how you can help bring your spouse on board with you. And I wish I had a PowerPoint, but I don't. So you just have to look at us and look at everybody else. One of the things you need to do is you need to sit your spouse and your family down. And you need to share with them that your goals. Not only your goals, but you need to understand what the family's goals are, right? You may be saying, hey, you may have kids who are in junior high and be like, hey, we got to pay for college. And you may not understand this, but college is kind of expensive. So we're working hard to bust our butt because we want you to be able to go to an awesome school. Or you may be in a tiny house where you've got 3 kids in the same bedroom and you need to separate that a little bit because they're getting older. And so you're working towards buying a new home. Whatever it is, it's so important to share that with your kids. Your kids can be 4 and 5 years old, and you need to be having family meetings with them. And you know what? We learned this the hard way. And we want to tell you a really quick story about how we realized we had to bring our kids into understanding what we were trying to do. And it wasn't just for us, it was for our business.
Right. And I mean, back whenever we, and this was like 8 years ago, I believe. And one of my boys, my oldest son, was on the pitching mound. It was just like one of his first games that he was going to be able to pitch. And we were now granted, we were early on in this business. And so I'm behind we set up our camp chairs. We'd be behind the backstop, and anyway, he's pitching everything. All of a sudden, my phone rings, and I pick it up, and I start talking to I can't remember if it was I don't remember if it was a coach or a prospect or something like that.
And we used to like throw up on them. We used to talk for an hour on somebody.
And I would talk, and anytime, 24 hours a day, we learned 24 hours a day, whether, from I forgot what they said, but you're always in business. You're always in business. And so, okay, all right, I'm always in business. Call me anytime. I'm always available. Da, 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 da. And anyway, so I take this call. I'm talking on the phone, and my son stops. He's on the mound. He's pitching. He's on the mound. He looks at me, gives me this look, and kind of like, really, you're going to do this now, And that right then and there, I knew something had to change because because what was going to happen, and what it did at that time was going to cause resentment because. You only have so much time in a day. You only have, so much of you to go around. And so if your business is getting all of this attention and all of this time, it's got to come from somewhere else. And so one of the things that we had to make sure that we did was that we had to make sure that we set parameters with our business and that we set, definite things that we need to do. And so I know I'm going to show you something that is mind-blowing. So make sure that you got a pen and pencil, and you may even want to like screen capture this, but we used one of these.
They can't even see it. Which is a calendar. We used the calendar, right?
Or
we brought them down.
Or you can use one of these where you have all your people, and this has like Melissa, Bryson, and Ty, free time, God, home, work. But you have all these things available, and it's a calendar. And what you do is you take your calendar and you can put in here, like I can put Melissa, this is Melissa time. This is workout time. This is my God time. This is, free time or meditation or workout time. This is breakfast time, lunchtime, dinner time. And kids, and you do all this stuff and you put it in your calendar. And let's say you have your power hour. If you say, okay, I can only squeeze in Beachbody for an hour a day, which you can do some real damage in an hour with Beachbody if you concentrate on it. So you put that in there. Nothing else gets in Beachbody's hour. Nothing else gets in kids' hour. And so if you're going on, and it doesn't matter, you could be right in the middle of the best stinking post that you've ever written in your life, and it's going to get 1 million likes and shares and everything, and the clock strikes whatever the end of it, and your bell rings, you shut it down. And the same thing goes, if you're in the middle of a call and you're about to be done, no, you shut it down. Because you stick to that calendar. Because what's going to happen is if you let this business encroach on those other areas will begin to resent what's going on in your business, and you lose control. And so that in and of itself with the calendar was probably one of the biggest things, because early on, one of the things we did, and I do want you to really commit this to memory and even write it down, is to be where you are. You have to make sure that you be where you are. If you're working, you are working. If you're doing Beachbody, you're being Beachbody. You're being a Beachbody coach. But if you're on a date night, leave your stinking phone away and be where you are. Don't worry about, hey, I want to sign up right now. Oh, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait till after my date, Or if you're with your kids, be with your kids. If you're at the office at your regular day job, be at your office. Don't let them intertwine. You need to be there, focus on where you are, what you're doing, and give the concentration to that, because if not, like I said, it's just not going to work out. You're going to have too many obstacles.
Right. So what you kind of like can take away from this call is that, one, you've got to share your goals, not only with your spouse, but with your family. It's so important. One thing that we've counseled, and I don't want to say that I don't want to say counseled because I don't have a counseling degree whatsoever, but we've talked to couples and found out where the problem lies is in the communication. It's in the communication. The wife thinks she's doing good and she's adding money to the budget if she's the one working the business. She thinks she's really doing good and she wants to add money to the budget. She wants to help them get them out of debt and she wants to better their family. But what the husband sees is her working on her computer or her phone all the time, not paying attention to the family, and especially not paying attention to him. And he's feeling like he works really hard providing for the family. Why aren't you paying attention to me? So you can see that heads are butting, but nobody's talking. If you share with your spouse, and I suggest that you ask the other person, hey, let's go on a date night. And when you get to the date night, hey, let's talk about our goals. Where do you see our family going? I want to share with you why I signed up with Beachbody in the first place. I want to share with you what my goal is for that. And I want you to understand that it's not going to encroach on our family time. And when that happens, you make that time that's Beachbody the best time it can possibly be. You do all that you can. There's no searching on Facebook or looking through your Snapchat. You are inviting and you are following up. That's what you do. Because when your boys or your kids walk through the door off the bus, it's their time. And then when your husband walks in or your wife walks in, it's her or his time. So it's the communication, you guys. And when that happens, you will see your business grow. You truly will, because you feel like you have the confidence to do it. And
you're both rowing the boat in the same direction. And at the same time, when you involve not only your spouse, but let's just say Sarah. Let's take Sarah, for instance, and her business right now is a 12-star diamond. And if she were to say, you know what, I really have this goal. I want to become a 15-star diamond. I want to become the top rank in this company so I can partake in this bonus. But also, it's just a really good place to be, especially saying, hey, I'm one of the top ranked coaches in the company. So Sarah's got this really big goal that she's going out there, but she knows if she does that, she has to sacrifice some time. So what she does is she not only sets that goal, but she sits her husband down and she sits every one of the children down and says, listen, mommy's going to be going after this goal. And here's the reason why we're going to do it. When we do this, I'm going to get this big bonus, and this big bonus is going to allow us to go to Disney World, or this big bonus is going to allow us to X or Y or Z. But when we do this, but doing this, I'm going to have to be on the phone, or I'm going to have to be out of town, or I'm going to have to do this, that, and the other. And you lay out those parameters and then whatever. And then when you do that, what happens is you have now involved them in your goal. Number one, they know what's going on. Number two, they're going to hold you accountable, because they're going to go, hey, mommy, where are we on 15 star? Okay.
Where are we on that Disney World trip?
Hey, when
is that happening?
They may even look at your sponsorship drill down for you. But I mean, but with that is the coolest thing too is when Sarah hits that. It's like when I hit it, my boys knew. We sat them down and we said, hey, this is what's going to go on. When we hit Superstar, we went out to Diamond and we said, listen, I hit it. We got it. They were able to celebrate it just as much as you were. And so you're involved as a family, and you're all kind of hoping and praying and moving and working towards the same goal, instead of it just being you selfishly going towards something, even though it might not be selfishly because you're doing it for the good of the family. In their eyes, you're being selfish because you're working on something that they don't really know all about. And so you want to make sure that you do involve, not only, like she said, your spouse, but you involve your family so that everybody can be rowing that boat in the same direction.
Yeah, that's so true that you said that, because my kids are, 11, 10, 7, and 3. I should say that faster, but I do have to think about it.
What are their names?
Their names are, get out, leave your sister alone, stop touching that. But it's true, like my son will always say, now what are you now, Mom? Are you 13 star? I'm like, not yet, buddy. He goes, okay, so who's next, Mom? Like they're always asking me, which I'm kind of like.
Do I need to talk with them? Hey, get him on the phone.
So true though, but they do. I think that is so true, sitting down with your kids and letting them know that, there's times where, I'm supposed to be hanging out with them or whatever, or Joe will take them in the pool and I'll say, listen, I have this call just like we did tonight. Like nobody talk to each other in bed. Nobody breathe. Just go to bed. Mommy and Daddy have this call at 9:00 and it's important to us. It's for my business. And I try to teach them that, like, just like, you know, dad goes to work, I go to work. It's just, I'm here when I go to work, and you have to respect that. And they understand it a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is communications.
It really is. It's all about communication. It's not only with your family, you guys, it's so important with your spouse. It's so important. And they will become more interested in this business when you share with them what it's about. When you ask them, you know what, if you believe in this, like they don't have to believe in it right away.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to respect your passion. And then you need to ask them, would you mind going to an event with me? Would you just come? I think it'll help you understand what this is about when they come to a Super Saturday. They don't need to go to Summit necessarily, but have them go to a local Super Saturday so they can understand that it's bigger than just you being on the phone all the time or you being on these calls that they're like, who are these people, you know? And then they'll start to get it. And when they get it, they'll have respect for it. I promise you they will. But, you know, Sarah, we have some time for some questions.
Well, before we do that, one of the things I know that we want, I have more. So
Yes.
sorry.
Yes,
you
Robert.
totally took me out of my
Are
swing.
you guys going to Snapchat funny pictures? Because that's my favorite. You guys have to follow Melissa if you don't already on Snapchat, because they were the cutest. And Robert, the looks you give Melissa.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
But it's so funny because I know Melissa is trying so hard on Snapchat, and Robert is just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, I've got like 5 people who look at it.
Wow.
I'm up to 5. You're one of them. So that makes 4.
And I think I may be the other one. I'm just hoping for a random picture or something. Anyway.
Joe just said, Melissa, your kids don't count looking at it on Snapchat.
You've got 2 people looking at it.
They won't even follow me. Trust me. They're like, that's so weird. My mom is on Snapchat.
Yeah. It's like tagging them on Facebook there. But okay, so we want, before we get to questions and answers, I just want to lay out, you know, we always like to leave with like 3 things that are like the meat and potatoes of all this and what we've talked about. And just because, you know, anytime that you're ever going to build a business, you really need to kind of have a plan. And these are just 3 things, and we've already covered 2 of them. One of them, like we said, is communication is the key. You need to communicate. You need to sit there. You need to verbalize your goals. You need to write your goals down as not only an individual, but you need to write your goals down as a family. That's something that Melissa and I do. Every year at the end of the year, we have a date night, and we go to a nice restaurant, and we sit down and we review the goals from the previous year, see how we did to that. And then we work with each other, and we go over the next year's goals, personal, spiritual, financial, business goals, as a family, fitness, everything. We go through all of them because it helps each other hold us accountable. But it's because we are also communicating with each other, where, how fast we want to row the boat, because we know this family has to go somewhere, and we need to make sure that we're both doing it in the same direction. So number 1 is communication is key. Number 2, if you are somebody on here and you haven't signed up your spouse yet, or you're working with somebody who hasn't signed up their spouse yet, it is imperative that you do that. Okay. Yes. I'm sorry. It's $40 if you just sign them up and get a spot. It is what it is. Use it as a place to funnel your volume through. If you already have people coming through, if you have questions about that and you're on my team, you should know about it. You need to be on the calls more. Or if ask Sarah, be on her calls more. She'll talk about the comp plan and why it's important to do that and things like that. But you want to have another business center down there, because sooner or later, if you are on these calls, you want to have a business. You want to have a successful business, or you would be sitting on here on a Monday night listening to us jabber. Okay, so you want to make sure that you, and if you knock this thing out of the park and it gets big, you want your family, you want that income coming into your bank account, instead of allowing your hard work underneath your spouse's business to go into maybe 2, 3, 4, 500 people ahead of them. So make sure you get that person in as soon as possible. You can ask your sponsor about where should I place them, whatever, but get them in right away, okay? That's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you don't do it, you're throwing money away. Well, it's going to cost me $40 and $15 a month. Yes, but the net proceeds, the profits that you can make if you really do something with this, that's like, you won't even pick that. It'll take you more time to pick that money up than it is to spend it, okay? So anyway, so that's number 2. And number 3, And can I go back to where I can see all the people on here, like the Brady Bunch? Okay.
Brady Bunch view.
Okay, Brady Bunch view. Right now, I see Jamie's husband is right there, and I see Rod is right here, and Lauren has her husband right there, and Janine. He's too young to be your husband. Kind of creeps me out. Let me see. I see another dude. Her name's iPhone. I don't know. I see a few guys on here. Maybe there's other guys back in here, and I can't really see. Tom is here. Anyway, I'm gonna say something, and sometimes it was kind of unpopular, but I don't care. It is what it is. And if these are harsh words and your kids are sitting there, I'm not gonna cuss, but I'm just gonna say, men, if you are anywhere, and women, you should probably go get your husbands, because I'm going to kind of let them have it real quick. But men, if your wife is in this business and you are not supporting her 100%, and I'll look right in the camera, and you're not supporting her 100%, and you're not behind her, lifting her up, helping her do whatever she can, you're a freaking idiot. Okay? I'm just going to say that. That's the number 3 point, because women are knocking this business out of the park. They're more social creatures than us. They get it faster. Their businesses are growing faster. Yes, as men, we can blow this out of the park. We made 7-figure income last year on our 1099s. Yes, I can actually show it to you, but I'm not going to. Yes, I make a lot of money as a business with mine, but I'm sorry. If we were to start over again at ground zero, Melissa would be the top income earner before I would. It's just the way it's built. So if you are not taking the time to help your wife, girlfriend, significant other, best friend, whatever, build this business up, you're trying to hold her down and you're being an anchor, you're a knucklehead, because that is holding her back from doing something special. So fake it. It doesn't matter. You help her do whatever you can, and just and do it. And I'm saying, eventually, when those checks start coming in and you get to walk away from your job and you get to play golf, you will thank her. But you got to support her now. Okay? I'm just getting off my soapbox and saying, I know some women are going, well, preach it. Can you say that again? That's probably being recorded. And if you don't like it, you can call 1-800. I don't care. But all I'm saying is is do it. Like right now, I've got this business, Team Beachbody, has allowed me the opportunity to expand my entrepreneurial wings and go into not only, yes, we still work the business, but I'm getting into other things such as real estate, other investments, and other things that I want to broaden the umbrella. I want to build the empire, as I joke around here. But at the same time, Melissa is really focused in and dialed in on this, whereas I'm not nearly as dialed in. But guess what I'm not doing? I'm not going, poo-pooing what she's doing. I am trying to lift her up and help her out as much as I possibly can, because guess what? She's gonna be a huge income earner. And if I didn't do that, it wouldn't allow us to be as successful as we possibly could. So that being said, that's the number 3 thing. And I just wanted to get that across for you.
No, it was great. And I want to share one quick story about that. I want to share one quick story about somebody who's on our team, also a 7-figure income earner, that her 1099 said last year. When she first started, Facebook had just come out. And her husband said, don't be posting any of that Beachbody stuff on Facebook. That's embarrassing. I don't like it. And she's like, well, I mean, that's kind of how I'm supposed to get it out there. He's like, don't push yourself working out and stuff like that. Well, she kept plugging forward and kept plugging forward. 8 years later, her husband is about to retire from his job, and they have an amazing vacation home in Colorado. She's doing an incredible job with her business, all because of Beachbody. And let me just tell you, he says, post whatever you want, babe. Keep going. Go for it. Before and afters. Do your workout videos. I don't care. He's all supportive. But you know, it did take some time. And she had to work her way through that. And then she realized, I have to bring him in. I have to help him understand what I'm working towards. And when that happened, he was all on board with it. He was completely gung-ho. And now he is her biggest backer.
Now, is he going to be a superstar diamond? Probably not. but he is supporting her and lifting her up. And
he gets the business. He runs reports for her. He looks at it all the time. He understands what's going on. He's back end. You won't see him front end, but he's totally back end.
Absolutely. So those are, again, I just think that that's always important, as a couple. It's just important that you're doing it as a team, no matter what, and that there's always just that support and guidance there. And just like I've always said, when you get Robert as your coach, you're actually getting Robert and Melissa. When you're getting Melissa as a coach, you're also getting Melissa and Robert. We come as a team. We're always going to be in each other's arms. You're going to see us at events together. You're going to see us like that. And it's just because it's always been that team aspect like that. And, hopefully if you're building this business and you've hit some of these, if you have this type of environment at home, good for you. That's awesome. Keep going and teach your team the same. If you have an environment at home where maybe you have somebody there that's not quite on board, just have a sit down. Hopefully you're so passionate, you have passion that you can share, and they can see that you really believe in it. And the biggest thing you can ask is, just support me. I'm not asking you to make calls. I'm not asking you to post shirtless pictures all over Facebook. I'm not asking you to do stuff like that. I just want you to support me and be there for me. And that's really all you can do. And then outside of that, it's up to you to prove yourself right. I'm going to be big in this business. It's going to be worth my time. So it's just really you to, one of my biggest things, and I'll stop with this. One of the biggest reasons I succeeded with P90X when I first started, because when I had the results in those first 90 days, was because she said I could.
I said they wouldn't get results.
And I was like, and when I'm doing a lunge, kickback, curl press, which sucked in core synergistics, I'm saying I'm proving her wrong. I'm going to prove Melissa wrong. And it got me through. And I'm not saying that don't do it to spite, but all I'm saying is you need to work your rear end off. You need to work your rear end off to prove yourself right.
He did that, and then he got amazing results. And he said, would you like to join me on my second round? I'd love to support you through it. And I did, and I got amazing results. Yeah. And it was incredible. So, Sarah, that's all we have tonight.
I don't think that's all you have. I'm like sitting here Robert, I think you need to go in the wall, and I think you need to go on Team Beachbody and just do that message, because it's so true about the spousal support, whether it's men or women or parents or kids or family members. It's because this is so not the norm. This, MLM is so not the norm, but I always tell my coaches, be patient, be consistent, because this isn't a get rich quick. You got to be in it. Yes. I have a new coach, and she just said to me today, she's like, well, so-and-so told me it's a lot of work. And, and I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of work, but it pays off. It's not like I'll never forget this. And I think I said it at the retreat. I remember when I first started, I'm sitting on the couch just like this on my computer, and Joe was doing dishes.
Thanks, babe.
That boy.
And and he said, what's crazy, babe? I just closed my laptop, and he said, the more you work, the more you get paid. I could be at that hospital for longer hours and I don't get paid more. And I was like, all right, I'll open my computer back up. And he's like, no, that's not what I mean. I just mean it's really crazy. And it's so hard to visualize what can happen when you're a coach that first month, first 3 months, first 6 months. I had a coach on my team, which I think Sarah's on here, that, 2 years in, she hit Success Club 25 this month. And she was struggling the past few months, but she said she went for a goal that was beyond what she ever thought she could do. And I think that that's when it really pays off, when you create these huge goals that you're so afraid to even announce, that it makes you accountable. Just like when she said to you, you're not going to do it, and you did it to prove them wrong. So she did it to prove herself wrong. Right. So I think that's pretty incredible.
Right. As they say, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still landing amongst the stars. So, just go big, and.
Is that your quote?
It is, man. That's absolutely.
Are you writing for Hallmark?
I am.
You didn't know that before he was a paramedic. He wrote for Hallmark.
I did, and I'm nicknamed Confucius.
Oh my God.
I can't.
There's no
I'm
such
looking
thing
for
as
your
original
photos.
material. No such thing as original material.
Oh my
But
gosh.
anyway.
Do you want us to go over any of these questions, or are you good?
Yeah, these people are asking, and I'm cracking up. Okay, so my coach asked, what if your spouse is on the wrong side? But he was there from the beginning. Can he be moved? He can't, right? No, he can't.
No. You just need to have them cancel and sign up under us.
No, honestly.
Did she?
Okay,
Oh my God, I'm offended.
no. Okay, so
Well,
She flipped us
oh,
off.
she did. Oh, I didn't see it.
What kind of friends are you hanging
So,
out with?
I don't know. I didn't choose her. She chose me.
oh my God. But here's the thing, though. But Karen, if your spouse is on the wrong side, I mean, I've heard of placing coaches on your
I
week.
don't know what that means. I don't know if there is a right side.
Yeah.
Well, I always suggest they built their spouse on their weak leg so they could increase that volume. However, if your spouse is on your strong leg, they're getting all that volume.
That's
So
what I mean. So it's honestly, I don't feel like your spouse can be on your wrong side. And for Sarah, I don't know where that, not you, Sarah, but I think it might be the person. Anyway, for Sarah's coach, there's not necessarily a wrong side. It's just how you build. If your spouse is on the strong leg, then you have the opportunity to build his weak leg, which is still making you income, right? And you really, really support those people on your weak leg. You give them your time. You make sure that they are bringing people to your sneak peeks, because that's what's also going to give you income. Helping those coaches on your weak leg build that volume. So there's
and you taught me also that, with any business center that you create, especially your spouse, can you tell them about manipulating somewhat, putting that coach ID number in that placement so that the volume goes? That's
I can't. I can show you, but I won't show you because it can get a little complicated. But when you go to preferred placement, okay, a lot of times when we're new coaches, we're going to just put right or left. Never let the computer do first available weak leg. Never. You're putting.
I don't even know what it means.
Yeah.
It just means you're letting a computer run your business.
Yeah. Don't let a computer run your business. You want to make sure that you are doing the right thing. And I can.
Yeah, it's going to take.
Yeah. So I'm not going to share my screen, but you put in your spouse's business center. And then you put right or left. So if your spouse is on your right leg and that's your strong leg, then you might want to help put your next coach on their weak leg, because that's going to be personally sponsored by you, but in your spouse's weak leg. To do that, you put your spouse's business center in that preferred placement and you click right or left, whichever is the weak leg. Still sponsored by you, just places it down there.
Right.
Okay. So that volume goes up through your spouse and over to you. You're double dipping. And each time, that's why it's so important to get to, he's dying to say something. So it's so important to get to 2-star, because you can put a second business center somewhere that can benefit you. And it can benefit you so much. So before you ever place your second business center, you get with Sarah and you find out where's the best place to put them, because that can make or break you on that one.
Right. And I'm trying to talk here. And where are the admins, right? The one thing that also, and I know I'm just going to fog this stuff, especially if you're a brand new coach, but it's just one of the things. If you're in a business, right, you want to know how to make the most money in this business. I mean, now granted, our comp plan will make your head spin, but you really, after a while, you really need to start learning about the comp plan and the different ways that you can get paid. Well, one of the great ways that we can get paid too, especially, and this is one of the reasons you want to sign your spouse up as a business, is we have this cute little thing called the matching bonus. And so as she was just talking about, this volume that comes up not only through your spouse, which is one business center, you get paid the volume, the volume bonus and team volume bonus on that. But as you do yourself and you're double dipping, you are also based upon her on her cycles. Like right now, as a diamond coach, I make 10% of whatever her team cycle bonus is. Well, that's a considerable bonus. And you don't have to flex. I believe in you. but you really, I mean, that could be considerable, especially as you begin to build and as they begin to build underneath them. I mean, you can really make an extra, I mean, who knows? I mean, you just think if you have a coach, let's just, I mean, in the big scheme of things, pie in the sky number. If she blows this thing up, she becomes a 10-star diamond coach, and she has enough volume on at least one side. She has enough volume right now to more than max out. And so if she were to become a 10-star diamond, max out the comp plan each week, which is $12,000 a week that she can make in just one of her business centers, and I make 10% of that per week, I make $1,200 per week, $1,200 per week from her. And so to me, it's a no-brainer for me to sit there and to really help her build, because that's an extra 10% that goes onto my bottom line.
Right.
And so anyway.
Which goes into answering Karen's question. My cycling thing is all out of whack. I have a lot on my left side and not on my right. So lots of money is waiting there for me. Okay, I'm with you, Karen. I totally understand. I've got one leg that's out of control crazy. Like, I could tell you the numbers, you wouldn't believe me how whacked out it is. So what do? On my weak side, I personally touch base with those coaches. They're not even my PS coaches. Anytime I see a PS coach bring on a new coach, I want to welcome them with open arms, especially if they were signed up by a brand new coach that wants to go Emerald. You need to understand you're there to help them. You bring them on. And because those little baby coaches, they help grow your income. If you can help them understand and they become Emerald, and those people bring on and they become Emerald, your income grows. So don't just stop by reaching out to your PS coaches. You go down line. You continue to reach out to people on your weak side. If you need to, you host specific trainings for them. Maybe you do a push to Emerald and you reach out to all those coaches on that weak side. And maybe you just reach out to them where you do an incentive just for that side. And you really work with them, because that can grow your business. So don't stop with just PS coaches. You reach down and that will grow your business. Anything you see, Sarah?
No, I think it was answered. I know Ashley had a question, but for those that,
I can talk to Ashley.
How would you guys, let's talk about the people that don't have a spouse.
Right. So that's a really good question. And
you need to look harder.
You need to get better.
Pretty young woman, come on. No. I mean, you're a Beachbody. Come on.
So Ashley's like, stop. You know what? An opportunity to educate your family on this. Ask your family member, ask a mom, a dad, an uncle, a cousin. Hey, look at this business opportunity with me. It's a gift. I want to give this opportunity to you. Remember, this is a little technical, but remember, you can have you plus 2 on your credit card. Okay, that might get a little confusing, but I have 1 credit card. I can pay for myself for the business fee, and I can pay for 2 more. So if you have someone who says, yes, I don't mind looking at this and you can sign me up, but I really don't want to pay for those business service fees, you can pay for them with your credit card, okay? And remember, if you have Energize, okay, you have Shakeology on HD, right? But you love Energize and you love the recovery. We have it coming to our house all the time. You put it through that extra person down here, because that flows up through you, making you cycle more up here. You don't put goofy stuff through here. If you bought Country Heat, you better put it down here somewhere. If you buy, like I said, Recovery, Energize, a Refresh, a Reset, anything that you buy better go way down below you so that it funnels up. That's the benefit.
You buy it through those other centers. You buy it through your spouse's center, whatever you do.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You buy it through whoever.
Exactly.
You're managing.
And if as we're going through this and you're a newer coach, or let's just say you're a spouse of one of the coaches and you don't quite understand what we're talking about when it comes to compensation plan, just FAQ team cycle bonuses. And go in there and you're going to see what we're talking about of what team cycle bonuses are all about, how you can do that, because yes, again, our comp plan is very technical until you get your paycheck and you look and you see zeros and you're like going, oh, how can I not make that a zero anymore? Then you'll figure out how it works, but go in and look at it. And especially as guys, I mean, as a man, I mean, the social stuff, and it's cool to make friends and everything, but I also want to know how to get paid. And so sit down and really learn this comp plan. You'll be amazed at how you can take advantage of it. And there's so many different ways legally within the policies and procedures to do it.
Right.
Everything
Absolutely.
we talk about, by the way, is
So
within
Yep.
See, you said something that I didn't know. So let's just start with the two of you, okay? Like pretend brand new coach. Robert's a brand new coach. He wants to sign you and your cousin up. So he technically can pay for your cousin's business fee?
It really, and honestly, you probably shouldn't go to third cousin twice removed from another mother. I mean, it's not the best thing to do. It really should be relegated to your spouse, a parent, a child of
18
of majority of age of majority, which is 18. Something along those lines. That's what it should be. And they've started to they've really started to crack down on this a lot more, because there were people that were just doing basically
They were
ghost
signing
business.
up people who had no idea they were coaches, and they were getting 1099 and they had no idea.
And that is a huge
You can't
no-no.
just somehow slyly get someone's social security number and sign them up and have no idea. Everybody that you sign up needs to understand they are becoming a Beachbody coach.
Right.
And that's where that red flag.
But I know there's like a concern, like, so just so my coaches can teach their coaches. So like, say somebody wants to sign up their mom, just to grow the business, but the mom doesn't want Shakeology. She knows she's signing up to be a coach, but she doesn't want to pay a business fee. Is that legal to do?
Yep.
It is.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I thought like they had to have their credit card on file and they're a coach. And
No, you can do it's called U+2, and you really can. You can have 2 other people on your credit card, and you are paying for them.
Yeah, I thought that was only for like Joe and I are on the same, because he gets the Shakeology or whatever. Like that was the +2.
Really far removed. Like I can't go paying for my neighbor.
Right. It's like
Okay.
I mean, I've
living in your house usually.
For his mom.
I always paid for my mom, and so and
And
now
I paid for my sister.
now let's visit this real quick. And this is Melissa's going to go that maybe you shouldn't go down this road, but
you shouldn't go down that road.
Okay.
That's rare.
Okay, forget about it then. If anyone ever has a death in the family, just get with me.
It's just not common. So
No,
it's fine.
but with that, yeah, you just want to make sure that you that you do that. I mean, because my thing with my mom is I didn't do it so I could have another coach. I did it because I told my mom, I'm going to buy you Shakeology. You're going to drink Shakeology, and I'm going to pay for it. I know, $90 a month is going to be a stretch for you, so I'm going to pay for it. And therefore, and you know what? And I'm not.
She asked her to drink it. He said, "I want you to drink it."
She lost 75 pounds, and not doing anything else. She didn't do Slim and Six. She didn't do anything. She had early onset dementia, turned into Alzheimer's. She passed from it, but before then, she was drinking Shakeology every day. She drank it for lunch every day. And she dropped 75 pounds, was able to get off calcium channel blocker. She was able to, because she was able to keep her blood pressure in check. She was able to get off just so many just horrible medications. Now, consult your doctor, yada, 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 legal stuff. But she was able to do that because I said, Mom, you need to be on this stuff. And so I paid for it, and I signed her up as a coach, and it's legal. Now, guess what I can do with that person, with that business center now too. If I sign up, let's say I were to sign up my father-in-law or somebody like that, and they were signed up. Later on down the line, when Bryson in 2 years or a year and a half, he's going to be 18. And guess what? He's already going to have a business center with his name on it. When it comes time, because I can transfer them into that spot that has some downline volume coming. So again, just things like that you want to get on top of early on. If you're a brand new coach, your head swimming, you're just trying to figure out how to sign up 2 coaches so you can become Emerald. It's those types of things. We understand that. But just know that as you start to build these things, as things start going for you, there are just certain little nuances that our business, that Team Beachbody allows you to do, allows you to have, that 90% or more of the rest of the companies in our industry don't allow you to do. And it's such a win for us as Team Beachbody coaches to be able to do that. So you just need to take advantage of it.
And I remember, like, for all the new coaches on here, that when I signed up, I went immediately to YouTube and just started, that's how I found Melissa, just researching and looking up things. And then I heard about signing up your spouse. And my coach kind of just bounced right over it. She waited like a year and a half. And I wanted to find out more of what that was about, because I said, should I sign up my spouse? And she was like, that's up to you. But I wanted to know. So when I went on YouTube and I realized it, and I remember sitting down next to Joe going, I have to sign you up. Like, you got to become a coach. We're not going to see it right away. And you have to understand that, but eventually we will. And thank God we signed him up, because of the income that he brings in, and then the percentage that I get just from his business. So it's so hard for new coaches, because they see it as, well, now I got to essentially buy a challenge pack to keep them active. And, as long as they have a, customer they can fly through. But it's so important.
Well, and one thing to think about that too is you just talked about, now, I'm sorry, what were you going to say? Because it just totally just.
Okay, well, since you don't know, one of the things that you can do, and Sarah, I don't know if you've taught this before, I'm not going to go into how you can do it, but you can make that money back by ordering packets.
That's what I was going to say.
And selling trial packs, 5 Shakeology trial packs for $25. You can get through 4, at least 4 of those trial packs with 1 Shakeology packet, and you have earned $100 of that initial challenge pack back. So there are ways to earn that investment back, and just take some training with
and take some of those packets, sample packs too.
Yeah, and not just online, like just carry them with you. Like I was listening to, do you guys ever listen to that MLM Nation, the podcast?
No, but I'm writing it down.
You need to listen to it. My team, I'm telling all of you, everyone on here, it's MLM Nation. It's all top, Robert's probably going to get called for it, I'm sure. It's all these top MLM marketers and how they grew their business and everything. And this one girl just talked about it, and I posted on it because she was so much like me in the podcast. And she said, she did oils. And she said, it wasn't about me going on social media. It was me saying, hey, I have these 4 oils for $20. You want to try them out? I'll follow them up with you. And $20 to people really wasn't a big deal. Like, sure, I'll try it for you. But she couldn't afford the oils to start with. So she, was bringing them everywhere with her. Because really, if somebody came up to me and said, hey, I have these 4 lipsticks for $20. These are the colors. You want to try them? I'd probably go, sure, I got $20 on me. I'll do it.
You want to try them?
Yeah, so it's an awesome way, and I have mentioned that, especially if you need volume. I feel like he's like my big brother right now. I really, isn't he?
There's such a delay. I said that like 5 minutes ago.
She processed it a little slow.
It's the computer.
It is. Are you sure? Are you sure it's the computer?
Positive. She's smart as a whip.
All right, computer mulling out.
We would so get along. We all need to get
so anyway, we need to wrap up after 9 o'clock. But I mean, but before we get off, the last thing, I just want to, again, like we said, just communication's the key. Make sure you're doing that. Communicate. Be where you are and have a calendar. Make sure that you're sharing your goals with your family and that you're spending time with them. Sign your spouse up, and we just went through that ad nauseum. And then support. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is make sure you're each other's biggest cheerleaders. Exactly. And if you're not the cheerleader, you don't completely get it, just be there. Just, seem interested, be interested, fake it till you make it, that type of thing. When it comes to that, it'll make a big thing. And then lastly, and we didn't go over this, but guys, you've been given an amazing gift to be part of something pretty special. Now, it's easy for Melissa and I to sit here and say that. It's easy for Sarah and Joe to sit there and say that, because we do make a really nice living from this, and we do see it as a gift. But honestly, if I could tell you, and I can't guarantee anything, results vary depending upon your effort, all that legal stuff. But if I could tell you that in 2 years, 3 years that Sarah's been in this, heck, if I could tell you in 10 years that you could be living a life of freedom, and I know that sounds weird, but you could truly live a life of freedom on your terms. You could spend all the time that you want with your family. You could have income that allows you to do what you want, when you want it, and how you want to do it on your terms. But it's going to take 10 years of working your butt off, or if you're Sarah, 2.5, 3 years of working your butt off to do it. Would you be willing to do it? I know if you told me 10 years ago that I would have to bust my butt for 10 years, but that'd be a millionaire, I would have said, I'm in. No ifs, ands, or buts. But that's truly what you have the opportunity to do with this. And it really depends upon you, upon what you do with it. And so being on a call and being on here for an hour and 11 minutes is a good start, but it's only a start. You need to make sure that you do the things that we've talked about tonight, as well as all of the things that, whether you learned it on Sarah's team calls or our team calls, that you do. Make sure you do those things and you take and you put into action, and that you follow up with it, and that you don't stop. There are going to be times when you're going to have so much just kickback or pushback in this business. You're going to have times when people don't believe in you, and it may even be within your own household. Keep going. Prove them wrong, okay? Keep pushing through that. Do whatever it takes, because you joined this for a reason. You wanted something greater than just you working out in your house, or you wanted something greater than just you getting by. So that, and you were given this gift by someone up above, or whatever your belief is. So take advantage of it, go for it, and give it everything you got. And I promise, if you do that, you will look back and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that people would ever say no to this. And you will be so glad that you did. And the best part about it all, ladies and gentlemen, the best part about it is looking back and seeing all the lives that you touched in addition to. So that's where the real fun is. So don't ever give up, no matter how hard it gets, and keep going with this thing, and it's going to be awesome.
Thank you guys so much. You're like Tony Robbins, miniature. We're not small.
Miniature.
Wait, you don't know how tall he is.
I do. I meant like junior. That's what I meant, because you're so much younger than Tony Robbins.
No,
Okay.
whatever. You're digging.
No, I got to have Frankenstein hands and be able to do this, yeah.
Thank you, Sarah, for inviting
Thank
us.
you so much. Thanks everyone for being on the call. Melissa will send me the recording and I'll post it again for everybody. So thank you.
Thanks, guys. God
Bye.
bless
Good
you.
night.